Hi, guys. So it's looking more and more likely that Joe Biden will now become the nominee to go up against Donald Trump in November. Why is this the case? So until recently, Bernie Sanders was leading the field. He was looking more and more likely to be the candidate to go up against Donald Trump. But something changed. South Carolina changed the dynamics of the race. Joe Biden won a huge majority in South Carolina, and it's looking more and more likely now that he will be able to, along with some of the other candidates like Mayor Pete and Amy Klobuchar and Tom Steyer, who have dropped out, these the votes the voters connected to those who are supporting those are now probably going to rally behind Joe Biden. So this would definitely eat into Bernie Sanders' majority. So it's looking more and more likely that Bernie Sanders will not win a majority of the delegates. He may win a plurality, but it won't be enough to win probably on the first ballot in the convention. So what happens is it'll move to the second ballot, where you have these infamous superdelegates who are likely to, in a way, take the win from Bernie and transfer it to the candidate that the DNC, the Democratic National Committee, always wanted, Joe Biden. Now, why is this a problem? The problem is, in order to get people to come out and vote, in order for you to defeat Donald Trump, you need enthusiastic supporters. You need enthusiastic voters. Why is Joe Biden a problem? Well, I'm going to show you just in a moment. But why was Bernie Sanders winning? The reason he was winning is because his voting base, mainly young people, were enthusiastic about him. Why? Because he was willing to give them Medicare for all, which is similar to the healthcare systems we have here in Europe, which doesn't render people indebted to these insurance companies for, in many cases, for decades, and also in other cases until the end of their lives. And also he's going to eliminate student debt, which is a huge yoke around the necks of many young working people. And of course, he's also going to, if possible, increase the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which will help a lot of working class people. Now, Joe Biden is not willing to do any of those, and he is willing to ignore young people. So let's hear what he has to say in this interview from a few years ago.
The younger generation now tells me how tough things are. Give me a break. No. I have no empathy for it.
Give me a break. So young people today are struggling under student debt. Many of them are afraid to go to the hospital because if they are sick, they're afraid that they won't be able to pay the bills. Many of them don't actually have insurance because they can't afford it, or the company that they work for doesn't give them any health insurance. And many of them are struggling because they are not earning minimum wage, or the minimum wage is so low that it's impossible for them to, for example, rent an apartment or even think about buying a house. So this voter bloc who care about these things, Joe Biden's response is, I don't care.
Give me a break. Because here's the deal, guys. We decided we were going to change the world, and we did. We did. We finished the civil rights movement to the first stage. The women's movement came into being. So
So he's talking about the civil rights movement and the women's rights movement. Yes, but these are things that are done. There is a new challenge. Why do you not want to deal with the new challenge? These people are struggling today. Yes, it's very important what happened back in the 1960s. But we're not living in the 1960s anymore. The young people of today are suffering under different problems. And you as a senator, as someone who is living quite comfortably, doesn't understand what it's like for young people to say, okay, should I study at university? Because there's a risk that, I'll never be able to pay off this debt. But if I don't study, I'm not going to get a job, or I'll be stuck earning below minimum wage or minimum wage for the rest of my life. I'm afraid if I don't get a good job, I won't be able to get health insurance. So what am I going to do if I get sick? This complete disregard for young people and the problems that they're facing is a reason why many young people will not bother to turn out and vote if Joe Biden is the nominee. Why would they vote for him? Politicians need to listen to voters, listen to individuals and groups of people, and listen for what the problems they have and attempt to deal with those problems. But Joe Biden is completely disconnected from this. The reason Bernie Sanders was doing so well is because he listens to people. He asks them, tell me about your problems. There are numerous videos online, you can find them yourself, of Bernie Sanders listening to people. There was a man who was considering ending his own life because he wasn't able to pay his medical bills. And you know what Bernie Sanders did? He said, don't do that. We're going to help you out. And his campaign, I think him or his campaign personally, I'm not sure if it was him personally or his campaign, they gave him some money to help him pay his bills. But they said, this has to end. This disgraceful situation has to end. And unfortunately, I think now that the Democratic Party see there's a chance that Joe Biden can win on the second ballot, they're going to maneuver him into a position where he is the nominee. And if he is, you can put money down that Donald Trump will be the president for another 4 years. It will be a rerun of 2016. As a candidate who doesn't care about ordinary people, doesn't care about working people, who isn't able to motivate young people, loses to Donald Trump once again. And I think this is going to be a very sad situation for young people and people of ethnic minorities who are struggling at the moment if they see someone like Joe Biden going up against Donald Trump. And also something I have to say is it'll be an easy victory for Donald Trump because he has right in front of him a mantra. All he has to say is Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden, Hunter Biden ad nauseum, and he's going to defeat Joe Biden because this whole impeachment mess surrounded Donald Trump's phone calls about Hunter Biden in Ukraine. And, it's going to sink Joe Biden because he's unable to respond to it. He's unable to respond to the corruption connected to his son. And it's going to sink his campaign. And also, I was looking online about how much support Bernie Sanders has around the country and how enthusiastic his team, not just him, but his team is in getting him to become the nominee. Just to give you an example, and this is scary, in California, Joe Biden has one campaign office. One campaign office. Bernie Sanders has 23. So when the time comes for the general election, who will have more supporters on the ground, knocking on doors, convincing voters to support their candidate? Bernie Sanders could try to convince his supporters to support Joe Biden, but will they be enthusiastic? Will they be passionate about transferring that message that they had for Bernie Sanders to Joe Biden? I don't think so. And I'm afraid for the future of the American people, if this is the candidate who goes up against Donald Trump, for two reasons. First, he's going to fail, but it will also be, in a way, a death for the candidacy and the movement of Bernie Sanders, because Bernie Sanders has built up a movement and they hope to win the nomination and defeat Donald Trump. And I think there is a chance that they can do that. I still have my doubts, but it's a much better movement. It's much more enthusiastically supported and much more motivated than anything Joe Biden or the DNC can create. So let me know in the comments, guys, if you're in the US, if you're following this, what you think. Do you actually think that Joe Biden could win against Donald Trump, or do you think Bernie is the only candidate? Thanks.